Mm. Hey yo, what's going on, everybody? Morning, Derek here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Let me turn this light on. New to the channel, welcome. Discuss everything wholesaling real estate, specifically virtual wholesaling real estate, as that's what I'm doing. Currently living in California, sourcing opportunity out in Houston, Texas. So if you are in the Houston, Texas market, either physically or virtually, let me know. Drop a comment on this video. I'd love to network and see if we can make something shake. Today, oh, before you leave, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I go live once a day, or try to at least. I've been kind of taking Wednesdays as my off days, but I try to go live at least once a day, Monday through Friday, and just really document everything that I'm doing. This channel wasn't necessarily created or tailored to be, crazy educational or a how-to guide. It really wasn't intended for that, but I've learned throughout the course of coming on here live and talking with you guys that I'm just realizing that even though I've done two deals myself, I'm two deals further than a lot of people already are. So I'm learning every day that I do have something to offer, and um, even just doing what I intended for the channel, which is just kind of an over the shoulder, listen in on my calls to see what I do every day in terms of work. I'm finding based on your guys' feedback that it is beneficial. So I'm glad that I'm able to provide some type of value, even though I'm not a pro or I haven't been doing this for years. So again, welcome if it's your first time. Hope to have you in on future live sessions, me and everybody else in here. So today, I'm going to start off over the course of the last few days. I've been going back and forth through text with a couple people, a couple leads that I've generated, and just haven't shared that with you guys. So I want to kind of catch you guys up on the conversations that I've been having through text. Yesterday was a busy day for me. I was out driving around and uh, trying to work both. I do have a quote unquote day job, doing deliveries and stuff. So I was driving around texting on the application that the software has for the iPhone. So I'm trying to talk to people and switching back over to the app and making sure I'm not getting lost and taking the wrong route in my car. So, uh, but I was really happy with the conversations that I was having yesterday. So, like I said, wanted to catch you guys up. And as I do that, I'm going to go through. I want to make sure that I'm not dispositioning these conversations on my phone because I want to cross reference my dialer and I want to be able to set appropriate follow ups and tag them appropriately. And I just feel like I'm going to make a mistake when I'm on my phone. To be quite honest, I'm okay with texting and having that conversation. But when it comes to like setting follow ups, doing all that, I try to just wait until I get back home in front of my computer to do that so that I don't let anything slip through the cracks or, like I said, tag somebody, uh, you know, incorrectly or something like that. So I'm going to go through first couple of these unread messages starting from 2 days ago. Like I guess I just have one from 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago afternoon after I was done working. Krista had replied saying that she was at work. Um, and that was in response to me saying, "Hey, I reached out yesterday." This was a follow up text. "Hey, I reached out yesterday. Are you free to talk today?" And she said, "At work." I'm gonna say, um, "Hey, sorry, I didn't see this." I don't really have to say that, but hey, sorry, I didn't see. I just want to try to come across as a real person. I don't want to just send some templated response. If you've been watching some of my recent videos, you'll know that I am prioritizing that. And in fact, I even had one of my recent leads point out that he gets texts all day, every day, but something about the way that I texted him and followed up with him, he said just kind of gave him the feeling like he needs to connect with me, like I was the person that was actually going to be serious about buying his property. And again, that just goes back to me. He made a point of saying, everybody else who I get these texts from, it's pretty clear that it's like a bot or just like a automated thing. But when I looked at your text, I saw that you left me a voicemail, which is the ringless voicemail that I dropped. Again, this is all automated. I don't do any of this. All I do is simply put them into the campaign, and they get texted, and ringless voicemails dropped over the course of like the first 20 days is this campaign. And he replied after the second text, and I had dropped one ringless voicemail at this point. So he was like, "Yeah, something about the way you texted me and the way that you followed up. I listened to your voicemail. I went in. I wanted to be sure that you did actually call me, and I saw that there was a missed call there. So, just something about it made it seem like you were a real human, and it made me want to have a conversation with you. And this is the guy who has six properties, six single families that he's wanting to offload. And I'm gonna try to call him today in a little bit here. So it was pretty exciting to just hear that feedback because that has been something that I've been prioritizing. I've been making a point to try to come across as human like as possible. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Hey, sorry I didn't see this. Um, um, just curious. Uh, ha- are you considering selling your place on Stinson Lane? If so, when's the best time for me to give you a call? Uh, yeah. All right. Jerome said, "Drop me from your obnoxious, pestering calls and texts." So this is, um, you'll hear me say like, so what I do is I do cross-reference my dialer, and anybody who it's very clear that I am texting the right person. I'm texting the person that I am looking to get a hold of, and they're telling me they're not interested or that they are interested, and we're following up. I try to remove them from my dialer because right now hosting my I don't have a central CRM. So any lead that I generate through text, I'm following up with them through my texting platform, and vice versa. Anybody that I generate a lead through my dialer through cold calling, I'm following up with them through the internal CRM on my dialer. So there is a little bit of overlap there. Not in terms of the phone numbers, because I make sure to only pull the first mobile number into the texting, and I do not put that mobile number into my dialer. But there is still some overlap because I may be texting them on their mobile number, but then cold calling them on their landline. And then same thing again. It happened one time recently where I was texting somebody. He actually was interested. We were having a good conversation through text, and then I went to go hop on my dialer and I cold called him unknowingly and pitched him the beginning of my script, and he was like, "Yeah, we've talked before, man. Like, we're remember we?" I was like, "Oh yeah, you know." So that was even more. That's what I'm really trying to avoid. Getting that second no from somebody who already told me no through text, and then calling them and them telling me no again. That's one thing, but it's a whole other thing, I think, to cold call somebody who you're having a good conversation with through text. It just, it kind of, in my eyes, has me lose a little bit of credibility because like I don't have my systems in order, and I'm just like willing to hop on the phone with anybody, and it just doesn't look good. It's not a good look. So when I'm texting, I like to have my data portion open in my dialer. I use call tools for my dialer. So when it is clear again through text, like this person, Jerome, drop me from your obnoxious pestering calls and texts. I don't even know if that's actually Jerome, right? So I'm not gonna bother to like go find him on my dialer because again, this number that he's texting me off of is not in my dialer, so I can be certain that I'm at least not going to call him on this number. But for all I know, this is just somebody random who I accidentally texted, right? So I'm not gonna go through the hassle of trying to find him on my dialer and remove him. But this next person, Caroline, property not for sale. In my eyes, that means that this is the right person. So I'm going to tag her, not interested in my texting platform. Quick search on my dialer, find her in my dialer, pull her up, mark her not interested, toggle the ready to not ready so that she's removed from any campaigns, save it, and that's that. Just a quick second that I use to do all that because again, I mentioned this on a lot of previous videos, but my marketing budget's tight right now. So any little areas here and there where I can save myself time and money, I'm gonna take for now. So property not for sale, Tiger not interested. That's good to go. Next one. Charles, I am a realtor. When I am ready to sell any of my properties, I will be listing them on the MLS. Thank you. Okay. Not interested. Same thing. Go find him in my dialer. Pull him up. So I actually have two of his properties here. Um, I'm assuming I have two of his properties, same first name, same last name, and he just told me that he has multiple properties, and both of these are in the same city and zip code. I'd imagine that these are both his, so I'm going to remove both of these from my dialer. And again, this is just going to save me time when I go to hop on my dialer. I don't have to waste my time talking to this person and him telling me the same exact thing, or waste my time trying to call the other numbers when I know that I already have the right number here, right? So in all likelihood, the other numbers attached to this property that are in my dialer are bad numbers. So I would just be wasting time trying to call through those. So he is not interested. That looks good. Next one, Jesus. I actually talked with Jesus yesterday, just to give you a little recap. Texted him day one, ringless voicemail day one, no response. Day two, texted him, and he said, "How much is your offer?" I said, "It all depends on how much work needs to be done. We're looking for something that we can fix up and resell it on the market. What can you tell me about it? How old is the roof? Any major or minor repairs needed?" And he said, "Call me," and gave me his number. Before I gave him a call, I just quickly did a quick Google search, saw that it was listed on market and that the place was brand new. Still gave him a call just to kind of feel that out to see, if he was still willing to consider a cash offer or what the story was. Um, no real story there. Just everything was brand new. Wanted to sell it. Asking top dollar, rightfully so. I let him know that's not really in our business model. We're looking for something that needs a little bit of work. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's not this." So asked him if he had any other properties. He did not. So that one kind of got left there. Um, so I'm going to tag him listed on MLS. Pull him up in my dialer. There he is. Not interested. When it comes to the dialer, I'm just marking everybody not interested who I don't want to follow up with. Not really giving any mind to like the tags or anything like that on my dialer. I just want to quickly remove them from the campaign so I don't have to call them. So that's good. Listed on MLS. This person says, "Don't call or text. Just go to BNC." But again, don't even really know if this is the right person. So I'm not going to go through the hassle of removing them from my dialer. In my eyes, it's worth giving those other numbers a call just to be sure. John says, "Nope." When I asked, "Are you free to talk today?" Same thing. Gotta mark I'm not interested, but for all I know, this isn't even the right person. So I'm going to keep the other numbers in the dialer. The house isn't for sale. Not interested. Pull them up in my dialer. I promise I got some more interesting ones. I'm just going through and cleaning all this up right now. Save. Boom, boom, boom. All right, next one. Just no, says Ted. Same thing. Just a straight no. So I'll mark interested, but leave the other numbers in my dialer. Next one. Not for sale, but. I feel like he meant to say bud. Not interested. Kyler. Not interested. Toggle. Not ready. Save. Juan says, go to hell. I'm going to go ahead and make Juan not interested. But again, don't even know if this is actually Juan. So, sorry, Juan, if it is you, but I'm going to give you a call on your other numbers. Uh-huh. There it goes. All right. Now these are this guy. This is the conversation that I really wanted to catch you guys up on. So I've been going back and forth with this guy for a few days now. This was actually one that I brought up right before the end of my last stream on Tuesday. He threw out a number of 200,000, and to me, it just seems like a home run. Even if it does need a full gut, as long as the property can be salvaged, right? If it needs to be torn down, it's not, the lot value is way less than 200,000. But if the property can be salvaged, comps in the area are going upwards of 400,000. I calculated ARV at like 395 to be 390 to be conservative, but I think it can go upwards of 400. Maybe even more. I'm taking it very conservatively because it's across the street from a park, so I took it at a discount for that. It doesn't have a lot of the comps had detached garages, whereas ours just has a carport. Some of the comps also just had carports, so it's pretty typical for the area. It looks like, but I also took a pretty good deep like $10,000 discount for that. I took like a $20,000 discount for the fact that it was across from the park. Um, so yeah, this is conservative in my eyes at 400K, and he's asking 200. The place is like 1,600 square feet, so even if it does need like a full gut, you know, you could probably spend like upwards of like 80 if you wanted to. But I think a good contractor, somebody with good relationships, good pricing, could get it done for way less, uh, and it would still leave a lot of meat on the bones. So this is a good one. I'm going back and forth with him, but he's being a little difficult, and I'll explain why. So just start the conversation. I first texted him on Tuesday saying, "Hey, you given any thought to selling the place?" And he says, "No, but I have another one outside of Austin." So again, I'm working the Houston market. He says he has one out in Austin, which is like really nowhere close. It's a completely different market. So I was like, okay, I can definitely take a look and see if it may be something that we're interested in. What's the address? He gave me the address. There was a little bit of confusion because like when you search the address, it doesn't pop up on Google or Zillow or um, so I'm just gonna skip past that. He says it's not listed and the other offer has been pulled as the okay. So well, I guess it's pretty relevant for me to bring up. I Googled his address and there was no results, but I just clicked the first link because it was on the same street, and I thought that I was clicking the link to his property, but the property it wasn't his property, but the property that I clicked on was actively listed on MLS, and it said that it was had a pending offer. So I asked about it. I said I just took a look now and I see that it's currently listed on market. It also says that you have accepted an offer, um, which again I'm talking about a completely different address. But coincidentally, he says it's not listed and the other offer has been pulled as their bank will not loan them any more money till they sell some of their properties. I said, got it. I said, I'll be honest. Typically, we look to pay cash for property that needs a bit of love. That way, we can build in the equity ourselves through renovation. This property seems to be in great shape, so I'm not sure if it would be a good fit. I wouldn't be able to make a cash offer for what I saw it listed at. Would you be willing to entertain possibly selling the home on terms? Again, I'm under the impression that I'm looking at this property. It looks really nice. It's listed on market. But then he corrects me, no, and I don't know what it says, why it says it's listed as I'm the owner and have never listed it at any price. I just got an offer where the buyer couldn't get the money at this time, but he still wants it when he can get more money. This is a 4 bedroom, 2 bath house that's in good physical condition, but needs some TLC and will be worth much more than you would pay for it. Houses in that area are going for much more. The Austin market is going nuts. My daughter just sold her house for $558 per square foot. And that's when I was like, was saying this stuff, and I was like, wait, am I even looking at the right address? And then I realized I wasn't. And I said, oh, my mistake. I was looking at a completely different address. I see the property now. Did you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping to walk away with? And he said 200,000. I said, okay, if we could do that price, is it something that you're wanting to move forward on ASAP? Yes. I would have to give the tenant a 30-day notice. I said, okay. And this is where he starts to become a little bit difficult. It's all revolving around the tenant and revolving around the fact that the last buyer backed out and wasted his time, right? So that's kind of where I'm going to try to take the conversation, build a little bit more trust, and let him know that that's not my intention, but also that he can't have his cake and eat it too. And you'll know what I mean in a second. So I said, okay, are you comfortable with getting the agreement in place and then just waiting for the tenant to vacate before we close? If so, I can run the numbers and send you over an agreement shortly if the numbers make sense. He says, I do not think I would like that, as how do I know that it will close until it does? I just had another guy back out at the last minute. And so I kind of texted him a novel here, but I said, completely understand. I'd be hesitant too if I just got my time wasted. But if you're wanting to close before delivering your tenant a notice to vacate, the burden of evicting the tenant gets passed along to me if they don't leave. This is what and hopefully that makes sense. And I'll kind of explain that a little bit more. He's wanting to wait until I take own, assuming that I'm the buyer. I'll speak in terms because I don't plan on buying this. I plan on assigning it. So assuming that the cash buyer is going to be the end buyer, whoever that may be, right? He's saying, I want the cash buyer to take ownership of the property, take title to the property, and then once that happens, I'll serve the 30-day notice to the tenant, which makes no sense because he wouldn't be in a position of power to serve them any notice because he has no affiliation with the property at this point. He's no longer the owner. He's no longer that tenant's landlord. The burden, that's why I say the burden of evicting the tenant gets passed along to me if they don't leave. I said, this is what I'll propose. I would ask for a 14-day inspection period. So we can set a tentative closing date 60 days out. That way you don't have to issue your tenant the 30-day notice until after my inspection period tolls. And it will still allow them the full 30 days to vacate before our closing date, right? We would be at like day 44 or 45 when their 30-day notice, that 30th day would be, which would leave us another 2 weeks to close. Also, I really like being in direct communication with the tenants as well. That way, I'm able to assist the tenant in their moving process to ensure a smooth process for everybody involved, your tenant included. How does that sound? He didn't text me back for like another day, but then he texted. Oh no, I'm sorry. He texted me back at. It's really interesting to see when these people text back because I'm under the assumption that these people live in Central Time, and if that's the case, he texted me back at 2:48 a.m. and says, well, if I have to evict them before closing, I would have to have both a sizable earnest money amount in case closing does not happen for some reason and proof of funds from a bank or wherever the funds are coming from. I just do not want an empty property, which makes sense, right? He wants a little bit of an insurance policy. He wants to, that's all it is. He wants an insurance policy. He wants to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen that happened with the other buyer. He wants to make sure that he doesn't serve these tenants a 30-day notice. They start packing up all their belongings, figuring out a place to go. And then at the very last minute, I say, you know what? I don't actually want to buy the property. Then he's either, done his tenants dirty or the tenants left. And now he has a vacant property that's no longer cash flowing. So I get it, right? But there's like a ways around it, which is why I proposed what I proposed. I felt that was a way that both of us can get insurance policies. He doesn't have to serve his notice until after my inspection period tolls, which would then, have my earnest money be hard. It would, in other words, it would become non-refundable after my inspection period. So if I'm asking for a 14-day inspection period and I put up however much in earnest money on day 15, that earnest money becomes non-refundable. So even if I do back out on the 15th day, 16th day, 45th day, the day before closing, day of closing, he's going to get paid that money, right? But so that's why I propose what I propose, and then he says, well, if I have to evict them before closing, I would have to have both a sizable earnest money and proof of funds. And I'm thinking, you know what? That's reasonable, right? That's his insurance policy. He's going to say, look, there has to be something in it for me. And what's going to be in it for me is proof that you actually have the money to buy this place. And, you know, I want you to put up a good amount of money, so that you have some skin in the game. So that if something does happen and it's your fault and we don't close due to something that you are doing, this is him speaking to me, then I'm entitled to that money. Right. And that's cool with me. That makes sense. I said, understandable. How much earnest money would you be expecting? And then he texted me last night saying, well, it is normal for 1%. Okay. So he's expecting $2,000 earnest money. But that is if you give me a month after closing to get the tenant out. So he kind of contradicted himself. He said, he just said, put up a good amount of money, get him under contract. Can you get a proof of funds? Yeah, I can get a proof of funds. It's no big deal. I can get a proof of funds, and I'm sure that I'd be able to partner with somebody who's willing to put up the earnest money. But he doesn't get it. Like, and it's really interesting too because this guy has 30 properties. It's in a revocable trust. If I had to guess, he inherited these properties. He doesn't seem like, or he's just he wants his cake and to eat it too. He wants the best of both worlds, which isn't going to happen. And that's what I have to kind of explain to him. What's up, Roxy? So, hopefully I'm making sense in that. You know, he wants insurance that I'm actually going to close on the property if that's what I'm saying is my intention. But if I don't end up closing on the property, there's he has an insurance policy. So I get it, but he's not making sense in this last text. He says, well, it's normal for 1%. Okay, so he's expecting 2,000. But that is if you give me a month after closing to get the tenant out. So now at this point, I just want to get him on the phone and kind of have a conversation with him like I'm talking right now, because that doesn't make sense. He, he would be evicting my tenants at that point. They would no longer be his tenants because I've already closed on the property. So I would be evicting my tenants. You would have no part in that, right? So it sounds like what you're really looking for, this is what I would say to him, is for somebody to buy the property with the tenants in place. And that's not something that I'm willing to do. That's just, it doesn't make sense when the intention here with this property is to eventually get them out anyways, fix it up, and then resell it. Right. So that's why I would like the property to be delivered vacant. I get that you want some type of an insurance policy, but that's what the earnest money is. When it becomes non-refundable, you're entitled to that regardless. So I have skin in the game. I don't want to walk away from my earnest money. I have no intention in doing that. And that's kind of what I want to tell him. Like, look, I get that you got burned. You got your time wasted. But at the end of the day, if you want me to put $2,000 up for earnest money, that's just me paying for your time, because nothing else would be a factor. You would just have had your time wasted. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. What's up, J-Lep? So that was the last thing he said to me last night. So I'm going to text him. I'm just going to text him, and I'm going to say, when are you available this afternoon to hop on the phone? Because I just need to have a conversation with this guy, because now he's not making any sense. And I don't want to like call him out for not making any sense, because that's just going to cause friction. Right. I don't want to say, that's if you give me a month after closing to get the tenant out. I don't want to say, well, they wouldn't be your tenants if we've already closed. I guess I could say that, but I don't know the guy personally. I might hurt his feelings. So I'm going to say, when are you free sometime this afternoon to iron out the details? Ooh. And then this is a guy also that I want to remove from my dialer. So I'm going through it. If you recall, a couple weeks ago when I had accidentally added a bunch of people all at the same time, they're finally at the end of the 20 days here, so I can kind of relax about getting flagged as spam because that's definitely what happened. I accidentally, instead of adding the people into my text campaign into drip mode where I'm sending off like 7 to 10 texts every minute, I accidentally added them all at once. So I sent off like 150 texts all at the same time, which I'm sure ruined the reputation of my phone number in the eyes of the phone carriers. So that's kind of been tripping me out. But I just saw that they finally got that last text, so I can be sure that they're not it's not the case, because not only did they get that first text all at the same time, but any subsequent text, they got all of those at the same exact time too. So this last text just went out, so it's done. And then this other guy, Jerry, was somebody else who I wanted to talk with you about, who I wanted to make sure I disposed correctly. So first text, first voicemail, Ringo's voicemail, no response. Day two, text again. I said, "Are you free to talk today?" He says, "I can, but I'm not giving it away." Talking about his property. I said, "Of course. I'd only want to move forward if it made sense for the both of us. Did you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping to walk away with?" He said 275,000. To me, that's high. I would probably be at, well, I haven't run comps on it yet, but just looking at the market and the neighbors and on Zillow and stuff, this is something that I was doing when I was driving yesterday. So I do want to comp this one, but he says 275. I think that I would need to be at 275 less repairs. That's pretty much where I would be. I would probably honestly be closer to 200 based on what he's saying is the condition. If you guys are in here, do me a favor, hit that like button. He says 275. I said, "Okay, could you tell me a bit about the condition? Any major or minor repairs needed? Roof, AC, kitchen, etc." He says, "Roof has some hail damage. The heater is about 1 year old. The plumbing has been changed. The slab has been leveled," talking about the foundation. But he says, "May still need work. Just installed new insulated windows in the front living room, and I remodeled the master bath." So even just in that one text, I'm taking that the roof is going to need to be repaired, if not replaced. Get a call here from somebody. Let's see. Yeah. Um, he's saying things, but it's still kind of alluding to the fact that it needs some work done to it. And then I said, "All right, great. To be honest, I'm not sure if we'll be the best fit since you've done so much work to the place already. We're really looking for something that we can build in equity through doing some renovations ourselves." And that was kind of me doing the pullback method, just like the live. Appreciate you, Roxy. That was kind of me doing the pullback method because, again, when he said that, I was like, okay, the place is going to need some work. But he's like making a point to say how much work he's already done. So I wanted to acknowledge that and implement that into my pullback. So I was like, you've already done so much work to the place. I don't know if we're going to be the best fit. We're looking for something that needs a lot of love so that we can do the repairs ourselves. And then he says, "Okay." And then I was like, "Okay, what would you say, if anything, could be updated to bring it all the way up to 2021/2022 standards so we can fetch top dollar on the market?" So this is a good takeaway. Asking the seller, in their opinion, what they would fix on the property to get top dollar. And he very willingly answered. He said, "I would rewire the house, sand and refinish the hardwood floors, repair some cracked sheetrock, replace the windows, remodel the kitchen and the other bathroom, replace the driveway, and replace the garage doors." I said, "All right. And does the place have central AC?" "Yes." "Perfect. Do you recall the last time the unit was replaced?" "I believe it was replaced a few years ago." So boom, just on this small conversation, I know that the place is going to need the roof to be repaired, possible foundation work, windows need to go, the kitchen needs to be remodeled, one of the bathrooms need to be remodeled, uh, carpet and paint, flooring and paint, um, elect the electric. Hello. Hey, okay. When are you going to be back? Bye bye. So now I know, it needs a lot of it needs a lot of work. And I'm glad that, again, he was very willingly offering up this information. I said, okay, great. I'll run the numbers on this to see if I can come up to 275. If I was able to be somewhere in that ballpark, is this something you're wanting to move forward on ASAP? Now, this is me filling out his timeline, right? If I could give you the price that you're looking for, would you move forward on it now? He says, I'll have to find another place to live before I can sell this one. Okay, so now I know it's owner occupied. Ah, okay. Would you need to use the proceeds from this property to buy the next? He says, yes. I haven't even started looking yet. I'm thinking of moving to some small town. I said, that was my next question. And then I said this, and this is something that I'm bringing. This is the type of energy that I'm bringing into all my conversations until the end of the year. Obviously, I'm going to want to try to get a contract within the next 2 weeks before the end of the year, but in all likelihood, I'm kind of not throwing in the towel, but I'm not wanting to like force people to make a decision unless they have to, right? So I said, why don't we do this? Let's reconnect in a few weeks after the holidays. That way you'll have some time to think about where you'd want to move and what you may need help with in order to get that done. We might be able to help you with your move in all aspects. Hiring some movers, getting you in contact with a realtor to help with the purchase of your new home, allowing you to remain in your current home for a period of time after we buy it to make it a stress-free transition, etc. Does that sound good? He said, okay, thumbs up emoji. I said, perfect. I'll run back with you early January. Have a happy holidays. So I really like that conversation. If you were paying attention, I never made him an offer. Um, but I do know that he's interested in moving. He wants to move to a small town. It's owner occupied. Owner occupied. The place needs a lot of work. Um, Not sure if there's any like motivation there that have been unable to uncover. This is my 60 plus list, so maybe it's just too much house for him. Maybe he's just looking to downsize. He says he's wanting to move to a small town. You know, he's just looking to kind of check in. Like check out at least. Just kind of like kick back is what it sounds like. So gathered a lot of information on that conversation and set myself up for the follow up early next year. So I'm gonna come in here, tag him, follow up, set myself a task to run comps, determine ARV, MAO. Assign that to myself. The first Monday in January, the 3rd. And then I'm going to call him that same day. Call to reconnect. And I just got a text back from that other guy. So let me just make sure I'm remove this guy from my dialer as well, so I don't end up calling him. Don't actually see him in here. Maybe this wasn't at my 60 plus list. I don't know. Anyways. All right. So that's okay. Yeah. The guy who I was just talking about that's being a little difficult. We hear what's going on, bro. The guy who I was just talking about, I said, are you free sometime this afternoon to iron out the details? He said, yeah, you can call after 2 p.m. Thanks. So I'm going to give him a call. It's already 1 p.m. out there, so I'm going to give him a call. Oh, that was something else that I wanted to mention. I don't know if you guys are free, but I'm dropping a video, a Driving for Dollars video in 2 hours, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So I'm going to do a little premiere too. So I thought that'd be fun and trying it out for the first time where I get to watch it with you guys for the first time. And it was like really, I wanted to, or I thought about maybe like going through editing the video and blurring out the addresses, all that. But if anybody's going to steal these addresses, um, I'm pretty confident that they're not going to be able to build a sustainable business model off of watching me drive for dollars for 15 minutes. So I'm not really tripping. So it's just I made a little holiday themed. I put some Christmas music in the background to it. So it's just going to be, pretty much an over the shoulder of you watching me drive for dollars on my computer. I was able to take down like almost 20 properties in that 15 minutes of time. So I thought it'd be cool to watch that with you guys. That's what the premiere function is on YouTube. It's like we're all kind of watching it together. And then I can narrate because you're not going to hear me talking on the video. It's just me driving and music playing. And then I figured it'd be cool if I like kind of watched it with you guys and narrated and pointed out why I'm adding certain properties, why I'm not adding certain properties, what I'm looking for when I pull it up in prop stream before I actually add it to my list, stuff like that. And then be there for you guys to answer any questions about kind of the same stuff. Like, why did you add that property? Or why didn't you add that property? I can be able to answer that right on the spot. So again, that's going to drop in 2 hours from now at 1 p.m. I'm going to be on here. Hope that you guys can join me and participate like I just mentioned. Random question, but why isn't wholesaling so mainstream? Many people never heard of it. Yeah, I don't know, to be quite honest. I foresee that it will be now that it's got like gained kind of national attention in a negative way. See these type of stories breaking all the time on mainstream news nowadays about people getting screwed over because people are backing out of the deals last minute. Just unethical. Right now, the narrative that's being portrayed of wholesaling on mainstream news outlets are pretty negative. Um, and wholesaling in general, I think, has a negative connotation attached to it until you dig a little deeper and educate yourself on what it actually is and how to operate ethically in the industry. Only at that point do people realize, like, oh, like I see, like, maybe I'll do that. But it takes like a good chunk of self education, I think, to be able to realize what it truly is and what the true benefits are. So I think that's why it's not as popular because somebody like myself, I got turned on to the concept of wholesaling like 4 years ago, maybe even longer. But I heard it and I was like, you know what? And this is something else that I know a lot of people have kind of like fear-based mentalities behind is real estate is pretty intimidating to a lot of people. And that's what it was to me as well. I was working a 9 to 5 job. I heard about wholesaling, but what I told myself was like, that's real estate. Like I can't dive into real estate. That's for the real estate professionals. That's for the people who are licensed. That's who are, people kind of make excuses for themselves like I did and never really take the leap in trying to learn about it, self education, and convince themselves that, hey, this is something that I can do. I think everybody's quick to rule it out as something that they're unable to do because it's this intimidating real estate world, right? Wholesaling is too mainstream. It wasn't this popular 4 years ago. Yeah, and that's exactly right. REI Capital. I mean, it's definitely even in the time that I've been doing it, uh, I'm starting to see more and more and more people get involved. So it's definitely on the come up, on the rise. But soon, I think, especially with these states implementing these new laws, there will be a barrier to entry. Whereas right now, there's literally no barrier to entry. Anybody can start calling people, which is why it's starting to kind of garnish this negative connotation around it in mainstream news because there's no barrier to entry. Anybody can just start calling people and making offers on their property with no resources, no real intention on buying the properties. It's one thing to not have any intention on buying the properties, but it's a whole other thing to like not have a system set up in place, not have cash buyers on hand, not have the resources to be able to find cash buyers. And those are the type of people who are kind of ruining it for everybody else. But very soon, because people and communities and states legislation yada yada they're all picking up on that. So what are they doing? They're creating barriers to entry, making people get licensed, making people renew their education in order to hold their license, certain things like that. Even just by putting up a paywall and saying, hey, yeah, you can do this, but you got to buy a license for 1,000. I don't think this is the case, and I don't think that any states have done that, but I think that alone is going to create a barrier of entry to where a lot of people are going to consider wholesaling and say to themselves, "Oh, it's going to cost me $1,000 a year just to do it, like I'm gonna go try something else. So there's no barrier to entry right now. Is the best answer to that question as to why many people don't do it. So this guy, I'm gonna call him after 2 p.m. All right. Now while I'm on here, I've had a lot of past due follow-ups here on my texting platform and both on my dialer. So I'm gonna go through my follow-ups right now. This one, I wanted to refer over to Jared, one of the subscribers here, because his girl speaks Spanish and I want her to try to give this person a ring because this person let me know that they were interested, but they spoke Spanish. Oh, no, this is the guy who I actually texted through Google Translate. So he is interested in selling his property, but at one point he just stopped texting me. So I'm going to send him over an email. I think I have his email. I'm going to have to find it though. Here we go. I think this is him. I think that's him. Big YouTubers like Jerry Norton make it seem super easy with cheesy videos on how you can make 20K in 30 days with no skills, and then when everybody tries it, it burns the business. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that too. Not to like throw shade at any of these big YouTubers because it's what they're saying is true, right? But people take it on face value, very surface level, and then they think, oh, that's literally all I have to do. All I have to do is call, get a contract, and assign it to a buyer. It sounds very simple, and it is simple, but it's not easy. And when people are faced with adversity and they can't get a contract in their first 30 days, they can't find a buyer for their first contract, they give up. And uh, like you say, it's they don't only just give up, but they throw a temper tantrum on their way out, and yeah, ruin it for everybody else. I think this is JD. Hopefully it is. I'm going to. Yeah, I think this is it. So I'm going to send him. Oh, JD, if you or Jared, if you end up watching this, know that I'm getting ready to send you an email. I'm going to. Spanish speaking lead. What's up, Jared? Sorry this took so long, but here is the information for the Spanish speaking lead that I was referring to a while back. Hopefully, your girl can give him a call and dig a bit deeper than me. All right, his name is Enrique Macias. Address. And then I almost just want to copy and paste the. Well, no. I'm gonna say sounds slash looks like it is an empty lot on the left and two properties stacked on top of each other on the same lot on the right. Uh, he said that he's done some work to the places, but didn't seem like it was anything too noteworthy. Seems to me that the places would need a good amount of work to bring them all the way up to speed. Um, I was speaking with this seller through text using Google Translate, and the conversation fizzled out once I started to ask about his price. Even if your girl can get in contact with him and feel out how serious he is about moving forward, it would make a huge difference. Thanks in advance. Eric, for real, California. Boom. Send that off. Make a note for myself. Referred to Jared. So his girl could possibly connect with his Spanish speaking. Follow up with Jared in a little bit. I had also referred this over to another woman who's a part of my coaching program, but I never heard back from her. So I'm not really counting on her getting back to me, to be quite honest. Nor do I want to bother her and follow up like, hey, if she got in contact with him, she would let me know. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one from her, that task, that follow-up task that I said. If she gets back to me, she gets back to me, but I'm not going to count on it. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate all you guys hopping in here. Just going through my follow-ups on my my texting platform. This woman, Mary is her name. She said 280,000 as is. I said, okay, what type of repairs will be needed, if any? Everything except the roof. So it's going to need the works. I said, oh, wait. Oh, I made a mistake. Anyways, I said, would you consider anything less than 280? What type of repairs will be needed, if any? Yeah, she said maybe 270. I said, okay, for it to make the most sense for us, we would prefer to be somewhere in the ballpark of 220 to 240. What are your thoughts on that? No, sorry, I will redo it myself. I said, no worries, I completely understand, just to feel it out. If I was able to get approval from my underwriter, it's somewhere between, let's say, 250 to 260. Do you think that's something that you might consider? No, I don't think so. A man that lives in the neighborhood has already offered me 250 cash, but I told him no. I said, okay, if we could also cover closing costs, doc fees, what's the absolute best price that you could do? We're so close. I at least want to run this by my underwriter to see what he says, but don't think that he'd give me the green light at 270. And she didn't reply, so I just want to follow up with her right now. I just want to look at my comps, my notes here. So I have ARV at 355 conservatively, 375 optimistically. So let's just use the conservative number at 355 times 0.82 is what I like to do, minus my $20,000 assignment fee. Less repairs. So 271 less repairs is where I would need to be. I think I interpreted her text completely wrong. I interpreted it as everything's brand new except the roof. Whereas she's saying everything needs to be repaired except the roof. So I would need to be honestly at, depending on how big this place is. Let's see how big it is. 1,700 square feet. I would need to be at like 220, 225 if I wanted to take a lower assignment fee. So this is definitely not a deal. But what I'm going to do for her is I'm just going to add her to a follow up drip campaign. So I'm going to first I want to take a look at the campaigns. I very rarely do this, so I'm not quite familiar with what the. Although I already set it up, I set all these campaigns up ahead of time, but I'm not. I don't remember what they all exactly say. So I just want to make sure that I'm adding her to the most appropriate campaign here, because I had already made her an offer. So I have. Yeah, but I made her an inappropriate offer. So I have one that says lead offer stage, offer made but not accepted. The first text would say, "Hey, just following up on the offer that I made a few weeks ago. If you want to talk about the offer or anything regarding the process, please reach out." You know, 30 minutes later, as a reminder, we can also take care of the closing costs, yada yada. So I think I'll just add her to this one regardless. This is the hot, I think, hot lead flow. Oh no. Lead offer stage, offer made, not accepted. So let me go back to her, add her to that campaign, and that's just gonna have it so that it's being sent out automatically. So I don't have to. This isn't one again where she's already denied my offer. She's letting me know that she's already got an offer for 250, which is much higher, I think, than what I'd be able to pay. To be quite honest, so I just want to at least have that conversation revisited. Like I said, I interpreted this incorrectly, and I made her an offer that I wouldn't even be able to follow through on, which was my mistake. But I am going to add her into um, this campaign. I need to know what to tag her though. Based on what I tag her is what is going to trigger this campaign. So in order to trigger this campaign, I need to tag her offers. So I'm going to go tag her offers. And then that first text is going to get sent out 10 days from now. So this is one that I'm just going to kind of set it and forget it. I messed up. That was my mistake. I interpreted. She said everything needs repairs except the roof, and I said, okay. Typically, we look for something that we can renovate ourselves to build in the equity. So not sure if this is the best fit, but in all reality, this is a good fit because everything needs to be repaired. So just added it to that. Again, in 10 days, she's going to get that first text that says, "Hey, just wanted to follow up on the offer that I made a while back, a couple weeks ago." So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this task here. Not anything that I need to follow up with myself because now the system's going to do it for me. Next, any response to last text? If not, add to realtor referral campaign. All right, let's see how this conversation was going. Francis said 200,000 as is. If yes, text me. If no, I'll keep it. I said, okay, what can you tell me about the place? Are there any major or minor repairs needed? Major. I see it's growing out there, so I'll wait till then. Thanks. I don't really know what that means. I said, okay, that makes sense. When would be a more appropriate time for me to follow up? I'm not going to add them to a real. The way I'm interpreting that of them saying that the place needs a lot of work. So a realtor referral wouldn't. I think I misinterpreted this conversation as well. So, but I did note that they have a high asking price. I think that, let me just pull it up on Zillow real quick, see what this estimate is. Again, they're asking 200,000 as is, and this estimate is 149. So it's high. Even if the 200,000 may be ARV, but that's why I think I was caught up in the fact that maybe they're asking retail and the place is really fixed up. I just think that they have a really high asking price in general. So, um, last I talked to them was 10 days ago. I'm just going to set myself a. So they stopped texting when I said, when would be a more appropriate time for me to follow up? Because they were like, oh, I'll just wait. And then I said, when's a more appropriate time for me to follow up? And they didn't respond. So I'm just going to follow up towards the beginning of next year. Although they're pretty unrealistic about the asking price. But it's no big deal for me to just shoot her a quick text, or him. Francis. It's a woman's name, isn't it? So that's that. Seems like all the other online jobs require some barrier of entry. You think wholesaling is the best out there virtually in terms of potential yield? I think so. There's a lot of different things. A lot of different things you can do online. I think in terms of low startup costs, little to no capital, I think it is, based on what I know and the options out there. I think that it is in terms of, again, uh, low startup costs. Because everything else, I mean, like, trading stocks, I did that for a little bit, option trading. Um, you could definitely make a lot of money doing that. It's going to take self education. Again, you got to know what you're doing. But in that case, it takes money to make money. So, and I think that goes for a lot of stuff out there nowadays. Appreciate everybody hopping in here. Just another quick reminder, in an hour and a half at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm releasing a Driving for Dollars video, and it's going to be a premiere. So I'm going to watch it with you guys. It's holiday themed. I thought that'd be fun. Got some Christmas music attached to the Driving for Dollars video, and I'm going to watch it with you guys as a premiere. I've never done it, a YouTube premiere, but it's just a way for me to be in the chat with you guys, watching the video with you for the first time, kind of like watching a movie, right? So I don't think that anybody's going to have the ability to like pause it or rewind it. I think it's just going to be a movie essentially. And I'm going to hop in there with you guys and try to narrate. Well, I'm not even going to be able to narrate because I'm just going to be in the chat with you guys. So I'm going to, answer your questions. I'm going to hop in there and I'm going to point out, like, look at that roof right there. That's why I added that property. Didn't add that property because of this. And then I'll likely go live right after that and be able to answer your guys' questions. So again, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd love to have you guys hop in there with me, and I think that'd be pretty cool, pretty interesting. Like I said, I made it holiday themed, so you can listen to some cool Christmas music that I found on another channel here. It's like hip hop slash holiday theme type music. So Rudolph said, "What's your best offer?" When I texted him back on December 6th, and I said, "What can you tell me about it? How old is the roof? Any major or minor repairs needed?" He didn't answer, so I had a task set to follow up. I'm gonna follow up, and I'm gonna say, "What's going on, Rudolph? Just wanted to follow up real quick to see if there was still any interest in possibly selling your place there on Dionshire Drive. So I'd love to learn a bit about the place to see if we may be a good fit." If no response, I'm just going to set a follow up for a month out. Again, no, nothing crazy here. He's not really even considered a lead in my eyes. All he did was ask for my offer, but showed me enough consideration for me to just shoot him a quick text like that every so often. Uh, you know, that's what it is in my head. If somebody's gonna like give me same reason why I say that about high asking price. If somebody's gonna give me a price, but it's unreal, but it's like also not like $1 million. It's one thing if somebody's like, yeah, give me $1 million cash. It's like, okay, they're not even really interested. But for like that last person, in all likelihood, their property is worth $200,000 all fixed up, and they're asking for 200,000. To me, they have thought about selling. They're obviously not at the point where their motivation is high enough for them to realize, okay, I'm not going to be able to get top dollar because an investor needs to come in. They need to make the repairs. They need to make the profit. They need to consider commissions and all this and that. So it'll be a while, but I feel like it's worth following up with those people, if not just to shoot them a quick text like I did this guy. Same thing. If somebody's going to ask me what my offer is, but then the conversation kind of fizzles out, it's nothing to me to shoot him a quick text. I'll continue shooting him a quick text every so often until he tells me that he is interested, and he's not going to say this, but he's come to terms with the fact that he has a realistic asking price, or until they tell me stop following up. I don't want to sell. Oh, I wanted to. Yeah, yeah. I already pushed that one out. This person, I renewed the lease October 1st, so it will be a while. I say completely understand. You think you would have any interest once that lease is up? I'd love to stay in touch and reconnect when the time is right for you. I'm in the process of preparing my residence and my other rental for sale at the end of January. The other rental is also in spring. He gave me the address. Would you like to make an offer for that one? I said, absolutely, as long as it's a good fit for the both of us. Did you have a number that you'd be hoping to walk away with? He says, there's a similar house in that neighborhood that recently listed for 250K. If someone took mine as is, I'd consider much less than that. One of the best things about the subdivision is its location. It's the smallest subdivision I've ever seen. It's almost yada yada. And he starts talking up his property. I said, okay, sounds great. Did you have a moment to hop on the phone real quick so I can learn a bit about the property? And he stopped texting me. So this was about 10 days ago as well. I haven't run comps or anything like that on this guy. So just want to round back and say, hey, John, just wanted to round back. I'd love to learn a bit about that property in spring that you're wanting to sell next year, right? That's what he said. I'm in the process of preparing my residence and my other rental for sale at the end of January. Yeah. Hey, John, just wanted to round back. I'd love to learn a bit about the property about that property in spring that you're wanting to sell um, toward the end of January. Um, I'm going to say I'd love to hop on a call with you and learn a bit about the property in spring that you're wanting to sell toward the end of January. I'm going to send them uh, this text, and then I'm going to double text them and say, but if you'd like to, um, uh, but if you'd like to just continue texting, that's completely fine with me as well. Um, I just don't. I just want to be sure that I have all the info needed in order to make you the best offer possible. So, kind of giving him an out there, like, look, I'd love to get on the phone with you. I gave him that out because, again, he stopped texting me last time when I said, hey, we were going back and forth, boom, 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 2 minutes at most in between texts. And then the second I said, all right, you down to hop on the phone real quick? He stopped texting me. So that's why I gave him the out right now. Hey, just wanted to round back. We talked a couple weeks ago about this property. Love to hop on a call with you to learn a bit about it. Did you have a moment? But if not, if you want to just text, that's cool with me too. But and said what I said. Kind of like the reason why I want to get on the call is because I want to make sure that I have all the information. Um, so maybe he's going to say, yeah, I'll keep it, we can just text, and I'm willing to text you all the information. That's what I need him to be willing to do, which is cool. Again, I could care less if he doesn't want to get on the phone with me, but I'm going to need him to type out a couple novels on, the condition of the place, and all the details that need to be ironed out. So, um, same thing. I'm just going to follow up, and I'm going to follow up with this guy in like 2 weeks if he doesn't reply, just because I don't want to follow up with him around Christmas time. Follow up with him like the Tuesday after, the 28th. Um, I'll be right back, you guys. I gotta run. I'm gonna be literally 1 minute. I gotta go run and grab something that my girl left outside of my apartment real quick. Didn't mean to get you excited, but all right, damn. Step outside for 1 second. It is freezing out here. Um, so this gentleman I had texted him on another number. He said this property isn't for sale, but this one is. And then I was like, I can't find this address. And then he texted me on a different number, giving me a different address, saying this is the correct address. I said, got it. Did you have a moment to discuss? He didn't answer. And then it looks like I tried calling him.
Hey, it's Ray. You man? Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. We texted back and forth a little bit about the property over on Appleton Street the other day. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to round back with you. It sounded like you were interested in possibly selling that place. Just wanted to learn a little bit more about it if you had a moment. Yeah, if you're interested in looking at the property, we can make an appointment for that. Otherwise, right now I don't have much time. Sure, sure. Okay. When's a more appropriate time for me to call you? I'd love to just have a quick conversation on the call before I send somebody out. Is there a more appropriate time for me to follow up with you? I'm gonna say Saturday afternoon. Okay, okay. I'll give you a ring then. All right. I appreciate you taking the time. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember that one, and I failed to follow up with him that Saturday afternoon. So, this is the guy he's talking about. If you want to make an appointment to come check it out, let's do that. And that's why I hit him with I'd love to learn about it before I just send somebody out. I want to make sure that it's actually going to be a good fit before I waste your time and my time. Um, like we can make an appointment, but then I'm going to get out there and then realize, oh, this isn't even something that we would be interested in. So I want to be able to get him on the phone and pre-qualify him first, and then hopefully later in the conversation figure out, or not figure out, but try to kind of explain to him that my process. We really like to get the agreement in place first. Once we realize, that we are a good fit, that way, if I were to send somebody out to take a look at every single property that we may be buying, um, we would never buy anything, and I would be wasting a bunch of money on, you know, sending people out there. So, we're not in the business of looking at properties. We're in the business of buying properties. And as long as everything checks out and you give me a really good property description, then I'm very confident in my numbers. As long as, I would ask for an inspection period, of course, just to be sure that there's nothing, uh, you know, unforeseen, like any termite damage, any mold damage, any foundation issues like that. But as long as there is nothing like that, again, I'm very confident in my numbers, and uh, think that we'd be able to make something work. So I'm gonna give this guy a call on another number. I'm never, not never, but I'm not using the call the call. I'm not going to utilize the calling service that this texting platform offers, although it does allow me to record it right on the platform and listen to it after the fact, like I just did. But the numbers are popping up as spam like crazy, so I'm just not going to do that. And my coach specifically told me just follow up on a different number. What's up, Jared? I just emailed you, I think, about my Spanish speaking lead. So check that. No rush on that whatsoever. But check it out. Let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm gonna give this guy a call. Let me see if I ran the comps on this. Asking price for this property is 210. I was able to gather that information again through my other conversation that I had with this guy on a different phone number. I saw some properties go as is for 190 to 195, which is leaving me with a max allowable at like 180 to 185. He said wanted to schedule an appointment, check it out, ask for a call on Saturday afternoon, yada yada yada. So I haven't really run comps on this, but um, seems that some as is sales happened in the area, so pretty confident that his asking price is reasonable, but I'm gonna have to have him come down a little bit. So let me run some comps right here, real quick. 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1,100 square feet, built in 1940, sitting on 8,700 square feet of a lot. Jorge is his name. At least that's who's attached to the property. The title. We go residential, single family. 800 minimum square feet. 1350 max, 1930 minimum up to 1950 max. That gives me 12 properties in the area. I'm sorry, 11 properties in the area. A few of them, a good amount actually, in my subdivision. So, but I'm not going to limit it to my subdivision because there's a lot of activity still close by. So this one sold for 185. I think this is the one that I was referring to. Yeah, so this one sold 185 as is. And that one looks like it needed a good fair amount of work. 185. That one sold on the MLS for 185 with a half extra bathroom. So ours could probably sell for 180. We have almost more than 2,000 square feet on the lot, same year built. So I think ours could, go for 180, 185. And this one sold in November as well, recently. So I think I may even need to go a little bit lower. Probably like 170, 175 is what I need to contract this at. Here's another one sold September, 160. This one's like not really even. I mean, it has 2 extra beds and an extra bath. It kind of brings it out of the comp uh, conversation. So here's another one sold for 170, 2 beds, 1 bath, same as ours. 100 less square feet. So ours could maybe go for 180. 2,000 extra square feet on the lot though, so I think ours goes for like 170. This is just very generally speaking. Another one sold for 228 a couple weeks ago. Extra bed and extra bath. I think ours sells for 215. Two no two like two. I'm just gonna say 200 to be honest. Just play it safe. Ours has an extra 100 square feet. I'll call ours. I'll call it 205. With that, ours has an extra 2,500 square feet on the lot, and it's 8 years newer. So what I say, 205. I'll call it like 215 ARV on that. But I just want to make sure that it's not in the same subdivision, and that one crosses a major road. So I don't even want to look at that. 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10 is what I'm looking at. So 10. Here we go. This one is in our subdivision, sold for 272 back in April. It has one extra bedroom, so ours could probably sell for 260. Theirs has an extra 100 square feet, so ours sells for 250. Oh, and I remember this one. It's not a comp because their lot's 3 times as big. I don't know. This estimated value here is 220. I'm just gonna go off of this as is here that sold for 185. It's a perfect, example for me to show him that it has an extra half bath and sold for 185 to try to hopefully get him underneath that. So yes, I got it for sure, Jared. So I'm gonna give him a quick call just to see if he's willing to talk. If he has a good couple moments.
Hello.
Hey, it's Jorge.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek.
How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing okay.
Good to hear. I just don't know if you recall. Wanted to round back. We've been going back and forth a little bit about your property over on Appleton Street.
Yeah. Sure. I'm listening to you.
Yeah. Last we talked, I think I just caught you at a bad time. What I'd love to do is just kind of learn a little bit about it to see if maybe we be, a good fit for you. Did you have a moment?
Yeah. I got a few minutes.
Perfect. So just wanted to kind of, I guess, start by learning a little bit about the condition. That's really the driving factor for us. Just a little bit about us. We do have some cash on hand, so we are looking to pick up one property, possibly two, if we're able to. We are looking to buy something that does need a little bit of love, so that we can. He hung up on, or at least the call dropped. Call back.
Hello.
Hey, sorry, I lost you there.
Yeah. I think I'm going through a dead zone. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, and just kind of finish what I was saying. We are looking for something that needs a little bit of love. We're looking to buy something that we can kind of build in the equity ourselves through doing some renovations. And we are, again, able to pay cash and all that good stuff. So just wanted to learn a little bit about the condition. Just kind of generally speaking, what could you tell me about, the current state of it?
It's fair. The house is fair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I guess you could say what I could say. It's it's livable.
Mm-hmm.
I guess one could change out the exterior siding if one wanted to.
Okay.
Um, one, let's see, what else can I say about it? I guess that's about the most do it if one wants to, but there's no need for it.
Right.
Um, Same thing with maybe kitchen cabinets. Well, we'll just cut out all the cabinets. One can do that, but it's not necessary.
Right. Right.
I guess one could change out. Definitely one could say, okay, the flooring, yeah, that one could change that out. But I'm referring to most of the house's carpet.
Okay.
And then one could change out, like to swap out the carpet. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be. It's time for changing out the carpet.
Right.
And of course, a paint job. Flooring in the kitchen is linoleum tile.
Okay.
One can change that out too, and same thing with a back utility room. One can change that out.
Okay. Okay.
It has a detached garage. In the garage itself, there is no cement going from the front of the house to the back of the house in order to be able to put a car in it.
Right.
There's a carport on there, and then with the carport, the continuation of the cement going to the garage, it's not there.
Gotcha.
So one could add that. I guess one could update a boiler going from a tank type water heater to a tankless water heater. One wants to do something along those lines. And the washroom, there's a washroom that also has that same type of linoleum tile that could also be swapped out.
Okay. Okay.
I'd say in general that it does not have a central air and heat.
Okay.
So I guess one could update that or whatever. And changing out the siding, I guess one could swap out from single pane windows to double pane windows or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna say that's basically in general there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's a lot of information, and I appreciate that. Just so that I confirm, I'm looking at the place. It's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, correct?
It's really 3 bedroom, 1 bath.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Take note of that. Was something converted or?
3 bedroom, 1 bath, living room, dining room, kitchen.
Okay.
And then utility room.
Gotcha. And it's looking like give or take a little over 1,100 square feet. Does that sound accurate?
I don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Okay.
If it's anything, it might be 1,200 square feet, but I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And then kind of like the bigger ticket items. I know you said it doesn't have central AC. What about like the roof? Do you recall the last time that was replaced?
Roof was replaced about I'm going to say maybe 8-10 years ago.
Okay.
It has a fairly good roof.
Yeah.
And I say that the replacement roof was kind of laugh at the whole situation. It's something that they were calling 50-year roof at that time.
Yeah.
And I say I laugh because that same 50-year roof, the warranty on them things, I think they've recently got them down to
30. Yeah. That is funny.
I'm just saying it just depends whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
And then as far as the roof itself, well, they do not come with, how would I say, full replacement warranty unless one uses the official manufacturer installer. So that was not used. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the basis of the installation, all of that was installed. I'm going to say just as good or better than if the official roof installer had done it. And I'm just making a statement in general.
Yeah.
Like I said, they go, no, it has to be official roof installer. Yeah, I know. Of course, it has to be official roof installer. So you can charge it up as $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
So,
yeah. They're always going to throw those little contingencies in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The roof was installed about 8-10 years ago, roughly speaking.
Okay.
Like that.
All right. Perfect. And
7 years ago at the earliest.
Gotcha. Any like foundation issues to your knowledge or anything like that?
It's a house on blocks.
Okay.
It's elevated.
Yeah.
It's elevated about I'm gonna say a foot off the ground.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. get under it.
Okay.
If one needs to.
Yeah.
Without having to dig up dirt around it or anything like that.
Right.
And of course, depending if you're not a 400-pound person.
Well, I think I'll pass that test there, so that's good. Now, it's a rental for you?
No, it's I've got people living there, but I'm not renting it.
Okay. And those people living in there are they on some type of a lease, or is it more of an informal type of situation?
That doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good to me. It sounds like something that we might be interested. Just out of curiosity, how long you been kind of thinking about selling it? I know when I had initially texted you, it sounded like you were pretty prepared to move forward.
I'm ready to sell it if need be. I mean, if everything works out and I agree with everything and everything's good, yeah, sure, take it away.
Yeah. Okay. And if we were able to kind of come to an agreement, how quickly would you want the process to go? Are you looking at like a 30-day, 60? I know with the holidays approaching, a lot of people
I'll
kind of.
just say in general, I'll say less than 90 days. I'll
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, we can pay cash. The only thing that we wouldn't be able to cover is like any outstanding mortgage balances, unpaid taxes, liens, or anything like that. Would anything like that have to be cleared before we're able to close on it?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. All right. Well, taking a look at the area right now, kind of while we're talking, just to get a general idea of where we would be. Did you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping to get for it?
210K.
210. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just taking note of this right now. That sounds good. Taking a look. I'm taking a look. Are you familiar? Oh, actually, this one is on Appleton Street. I'm looking at some of the homes that sold recently in the area. I'm looking at one, 6915. It looks to just be like a block over on Appleton again. That one right there sold for 185 on the 5th of November. Taking a look at the pictures, I'm not, obviously I don't know exactly what the inside of your place looks like, but this one did appear to be sold as is as well. So I'd imagine that it may be in similar condition. So, just with that being said, I'd have to ask, is that 210,000 negotiable at all?
No, we can always go up.
I'm sorry?
I said no, we can always go up.
Now,
Exactly.
yeah. So, okay,
You can always say, hey, I'll give you 240, and yeah, I might take
you might, yeah. So, okay, let me rephrase the question. What is there any possibility? Yeah.
As soon as it turns the year, first 3 months, as soon as the year turns up, it's gonna go up.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And I say within that, I guarantee you, end of February, March, I'm not going to hold it at 210. It's going to go up.
Yeah. I gotcha. And that's something
I'm
that.
a little bit.
Go on. I'm sorry.
I'm a little bit now tight on time. I got to go attend a meeting right now.
Sure.
Let me give you an email address. If you need to contact me, you can also contact me via that format.
Okay, that sounds good.
Again, you got my number, okay?
Yeah, sounds.
The phone number, you can get a hold of me, which you just did, and now you have my email address. If there's any other comments or whatever. And I say that because sometimes I'm not available on this phone.
Sure.
I mean, but this is the only phone that I'm suggesting for you to try to get a hold of me at.
Okay. All right.
I'll repeat that. JC.
Got it. All right.
Gotta go, partner.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.
You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now. He's pretty firm. Like you said, I was getting ready to tell him, well, he can't guarantee me that the prices are going to go up. I needed to answer your question, Jared. How much repair costs? It sounds like based on what he's saying, the roof is good, the foundation is good, it's on blocks. It would need central AC. It would need carpet paint throughout. It would need windows replaced. It would need the siding replaced on the exterior. Sheetrock, he said, on the interior. The kitchen would have to be redone. He didn't say anything about the bathroom, but I would imagine that the bathroom would need to be redone as well. He's talking about landscaping, laying down pavement for the exterior or the detached garage, the washroom in the back, the hot water heater would need to be replaced. Um, so based off of the size of the home, I would think that it's going to run probably like 40,000 in repairs. What up, Peter? I would guess they would have to run about 40,000 in repairs. I don't really know what ARV. Wow, man. Yeah, so he was. I mean, it's a good conversation. Great guy. Somebody I want to. We built rapport. Clearly, he was cracking up. I didn't think what he was talking about was that funny, but he was getting a kick out of it. So by all means, it's hilarious to me as well. So, but I don't see anything. The only things that I see that are selling over 200 are 228, but this is in a different subdivision. Um, it may this may be good a good. Oh no, this is the one that crosses that major road. So it's really not something that I'd want to use, but that's like the only one. And again, that's 228, and I imagine without looking it up that one sold. And that's a flip right there because again, this is the highest sales that I'm looking at. That one sold last month for 228. That one has an extra bedroom, an extra bathroom, uh, about 100 less square feet, 2,000 less square feet on the lot, 8 years older. So maybe it's somewhere around 228 ARV. Even if we wanted to call it 228 ARV, I think that would be very optimistic. At which case, I would need to be, using that 40,000 estimate on repairs. I would have to be at like 137 for a $10,000 assignment fee. We can always go up. Yeah, what a trip. Um, Never heard that before. But yeah, with that, I just don't think, you know, what I'm really looking at is that comp that I pointed out to him. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had a lead follow-up conversation. I was stumbling and I was really looking at my script and I know that it was apparent. Maybe not as apparent to him, but very apparent to me and probably apparent to you guys. But uh, it's been a very long time since I've gotten to the last half of my script. It makes me want to start to role play, if not at least with myself. That may sound silly, but that's something that I do. To be honest, I envision these conversations like while I'm just driving around in the day, and I will talk out loud. I'll talk to myself and be like, "This is how I want it to sound when I go to talk with these people." So that's that. I'm going to leave myself some notes. Connected with seller. I like how I like how I positioned the beginning of the conversation though, because I had him doing all the talking and he was telling me all the things that need repairs. I just could have done a much better job of transitioning into my offer. I didn't even make an offer, but I did point out that something sold as is for 185, literally right down the street, just one block over. So he's I get where he's coming from, but he's not motivated. Uh, he was saying something about I didn't understand the tenant situation either. He was like, that doesn't matter. Well, it's like, well, yeah, it does matter. I'm not going to tell this to him, but it does matter. I am getting ready to try to buy the property, so I need to know who's living there and what the current situation is. He was pretty. Despite him giving me all that information, he still had his guard up. Wasn't willing to budge on the price, and he's confident that he's going to be able to get that 210 later down the road. Which again, I've gone on rants about this before. Yeah, he will. He may get 210. He's letting people say that for free. That's what it sounded like. It was a lot of yeah, 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 okay, yeah, LMAO. It was a good combo though. Anytime you're not getting cussed out, it's good. Yeah, exactly. I'm not really tripping about it. He's firm on his number though. But again, what I was getting ready to say is I've gone on rants about this before. I'm not going to go on a rant about it right now. But getting 180,000 for it today could be the same as getting 210,000 for it 3 months from now because of all of the expenses that comes with owning property and, you know, anyways, inflation and all that good stuff. People just don't consider that. It's like if I'm willing to offer him 180 right now, I didn't say that, but I kind of alluded to it with saying that that one sold for 185 right down the street. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna hold on to it and I'll get 210 for it eventually. It's like, yeah, of course you will, but 210,000 eventually is not $210,000 today. It's completely different. So is the end of that rant. Anyways, connected with seller. Condition is fair slash livable. Things that could be repaired slash replaced. Um, Exterior siding, interior sheetrock, kitchen, flooring, paint, utility room, detached garage, driveway. He's not willing to have a conversation with me either. He was very reluctant to even have the conversation with me to begin with. And you guys heard that first conversation I had with him. He was like, "Now's not a good time." And even like he in the beginning, if you heard him say, he's like, "I'm willing to listen to you." It's like, "Oh, thank you so much." You know, like I'm so desperate for you to hear me out. It's like look, guy, I'm trying to buy your house. I'm not trying to like kiss your ass, just to be frank. And that's how I'm coming into all these conversations. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No harm, no foul, either way. Um, Hot water heater, washroom, needs central AC, like all this stuff. All this stuff is already running up a pretty penny. Windows, um, 3 bed, 1 bath. I tried to figure out what he was talking about because everywhere it says 2 bed, 1 bath. I was trying to see if he maybe had made an addition or something like that, or something was converted. He kind of just blew me off. Roof is 8 to 10 years old. Foundation on blocks. Um, Asking 210K and sounds firm. And he gave me his email address. Seller had to run to a meeting. Highly doubt it, but that's what he said. Seller had to run to a meeting and provided email in case I was unable to reach him by phone in the future. Going to set myself a task to follow up with him in 3 months. Doesn't sound like he's talking to anybody else, and his asking price is unreasonable. Maybe it won't be as unreasonable 3 months from now. That. We can role play. To be honest, practice is good. Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's something that I definitely need to be more proactive about and do a little bit more regularly. People do it in my coaching program all the time, once a week. It's just not something that I really have the time for, to be quite honest. I'm going to call this other gentleman who said give him a call after 2. That is right now. Follow him, find him, rather. I really don't know if 200,000 works on this, but it looks like it does. If his property it can be fixed up to the place where these comps are that I'm seeing, I think ARV right here is like 390. And if he's willing to sell for 200 based on my estimation on rehab, buyer expectation of profit, I may be able to take down like a $40,000 assignment fee on this one if it makes sense. So, but again, he wants his cake and to eat it too. So that's the conversation that I got to have with him right now is about the tenant, the earnest money, the proof of funds, all that good stuff. I need to just try to talk it out with him and see if we can come to some middle ground because I understand that he wants an insurance policy, but it comes to a point where it just doesn't make sense for us, right? If he's wanting to sell it with tenant in place and he doesn't want to deal with having to evict them or run the risk of me backing out and not closing on it, I get that. We can explore the option of buying it with the tenant in place and closing on it with the tenant in place, and then they'll just be my tenant, right, or my buyer's tenant, but they'll just be my tenant. But if that's the case, then I need to know how much they're paying in rent, if they're on an annual lease or a short month to month lease. How good of these tenants are? I would need to see maybe a rent roll to determine if they've paid rent on time, in full every month. I need to know these things because they're going to be my tenant. And then at that rate as well, we would need to get the price lower because our intention with this property is not to be a landlord and not to use it as a buy and hold. Our intention would be to get them out, fix it up, and resell it. So if we're going to buy it with the tenant in place and we have to go through the process of serving them notices, possibly evicting them, that's going to take a lot of time and money. So it has to be considered in the offer that we make now. So that's just something that I'm going to talk over with him. Hopefully, uh, I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and I'll be one minute, and I'm going to give him a call. Man, my landlord doesn't play around, bro. They'll be serving me notices saying they're increasing the rent. What is it, mid-December? Our lease isn't up till the end of March. Hell, let me close this window. It is so cold in here always. All right, let me give this guy a call. I just wanted to take note of the things that I want to touch on. The true condition. Uh, he says it needs TLC, but what does that mean? I need to find out. And then I think really I can just turn to the whole tenant situation and what his expectations are, and trying to come to some middle ground so that we can make it work. I think I have everything else. I have his asking price. Maybe figure out what his motivation is some way, figure out how long he's been thinking about selling it. Dig a little bit into the last transaction because his last buyer backed out, and maybe try to like uncover some of these 50 subs. Let's go. I completely forgot to mention. Thank you guys. I completely forgot. Thank you, REI Capital, for reminding me. I was planning on making a big deal of that. 50 subs. I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you guys are watching this, I set the goal for the end of the year and I hit it well in advance. So, shoot, I don't know. Let's push for 75 or something by the end of the year. Go share with your friends, share with your family, share with anybody you think will, benefit from this content. I really appreciate you guys. It happened much quicker than I thought. I'm getting subs every day now, it seems like. So, thank you for reminding me, REI Capital, and thank you everybody who subscribed and is tapping in. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you did subscribe. Like I said, I guess I'll set myself a new goal here before the end of the year, maybe 75 or something. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this guy a call. Morris is his name.
Oh,
Hey, Morris.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. We've been texting back and forth about your place over on Empanada Drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? That's the one we were talking about. You would let me know to give you a call after 2 p.m.
Oh, and I thought you were somebody else who's going to buy another house over in Smithville.
Yeah. That's. Oh no. I'm so sorry. I had texted you about Empanada. I'm looking at our conversation, and you had let me know that you were wanting the one in Smithsville. You're absolutely correct. That's the one I'm calling on.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. God, there's been so much confusion. I was looking at a different property when we were texting, but yes, the one on Northeast 6th.
Right.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So just wanted to connect. Um, sorry, my computer's freezing up here. I wanted to take a look, but yeah, I just wanted to learn a little bit more about the property. I know you kind of had mentioned that it does definitely need some TLC. Just wanted to get a little bit better understanding on what exactly may need to be repaired, stuff of that nature, so that I can be sure that I am offering the best offer that I can. And then learn a little bit about the tenant situation. That's kind of what we were going back and forth on, and hopefully we can come to some type of a middle ground to be able to move forward where it makes sense for the both of us.
Right.
Yeah. So in terms of the condition, I know you said that it needs TLC. Does it need, in terms of like the big ticket items, like the roof or something, would that need to be replaced? Do you recall the last time that was replaced?
Yeah, I think it was replaced about 8 years ago.
Okay.
But as far as the big ticket items, no, it's not going to need that. I
Okay.
mean, this tenant has been in there for 11 years.
Mm,
So, and this place has actual hardwood floors in it,
okay.
but somebody had already, when I bought it and acquired it,
Yeah.
somebody had already put carpet in there and they had a tax strip down. So I continue to put carpet down
Yeah.
in it, and so I mean the hard floors be revived with some sanding, a lot of sander going in there, and I've actually done that on another house and it turned out really nice.
Yeah.
But and then I don't know, it's got on the inside, it's got like stucco walls. You know what I mean by stucco?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like concrete, and it's painted concrete on the inside.
Okay.
Of course, out of 11 years, I don't know, it might need to be repainted, but it's got the house. It's got those stucco walls.
Yeah.
So it's not sheetrock, and like I said, it's got 2 bedrooms, 2 baths,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean 4 bedroom. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
2 baths, and the guys. I actually got the pictures of it.
Oh, okay.
That I can send you.
Yeah.
I went over there and I took pictures about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And,
Perfect.
It's got a laundry room in the back, inside the house.
Okay.
And in those pictures now, in the kitchen they put tile.
Mm-hmm.
In kitchen, this all happened before they put tile over I think it's hardwood floors in the kitchen underneath the tile too.
Interesting.
But they put tile, and they put and in the hallway they've also put tile.
Okay.
and but now it's got carpet in all the bedrooms and in the living room.
Okay.
But that is also hardwood floors.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
um, but no, I mean the guy's been living there. He's been taking good care of the place.
That's good. Yeah.
And he's been there 11 years, so it's a little. He's got a little, probably too much stuff in the house.
Right. Right.
But he's he took good care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. To each his own. Yeah, I get that. 11 years, it's easy to pile up a lot of belongings. So I get that. Now, yeah, the pictures, that would be a great help to me. That way, I can just take a look and get a better understanding because I'm very confident in my numbers, and it's one thing to hear, you give me this perfect property description, but a whole other thing to be able to see it firsthand. So that would be great. In terms of like the stuff that I probably wouldn't be able to see in the pictures, just to kind of run it by you, is there any foundation issues to the place to your knowledge?
No, no, it's a parent being house actually. So
Okay.
no,
Okay. Perfect.
not that I'm aware of that there's any foundation problems at all.
Cool. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I would love to get those pictures. Yeah, and then in terms of, well, I actually did want to ask you. I know because it sounded like you had gone through the process with the other buyer. Unfortunately, it sounded like they wasted your time. They backed out. But I did want to ask.
Yeah.
Is just out of curiosity, how long have you been trying to sell the place?
Oh, that was the first time
Okay,
that was the first guy that did it. I haven't been trying to sell it very long.
gotcha.
Matter of fact, I've got two or three other people that uh, are interested in looking at it as well.
Hmm.
They one guy actually I sold another property about a year or two ago, and
Oh,
he said, "Man, just give me another 6 months, and I'll be ready to take that Smithville house."
yeah, yeah,
But he's kind of a small time guy, and I think he
gotcha,
wants to sell them ready.
gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
but I haven't been actively selling. As a matter of fact, if I don't sell it to you or something, I'll probably keep it for a while.
Right, right.
The guy, my renter in there is pretty good. He's not paying near enough,
Hmm.
but he fixes everything. I really haven't gone over there to fix anything probably in about 5 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
Fixes it.
perfect.
Yeah, so I mean, when they treat me right, I treat them right too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How long have you owned the place?
Oh man, I think I bought it in uh,
Gosh, that long ago, huh?
late 90s, probably 25 years.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, and I mean, just again, out of curiosity, is there a specific reason that you're looking to offload it, or is it just
Well,
kind of
yeah, I tell you what I'm doing is I'm getting ready to hire a full time maintenance guy that's going to do. I got a lot of rental property in the Houston area,
uh-huh.
and I'm just thinking about. He lives in Houston and he drives, in the Houston area, and I'm just thinking about selling it for and buying. I was going to do a 1031 exchange
Hmm.
and buy another place over in Houston.
Okay. Okay, yeah. For the
And then
per
just make it easier for him, in case I did have a problem or the guy decided to buy something and move out, he does all my fix up and all that
yeah.
stuff. So,
So I just wanted to clarify, are you buying the place for him to live in, or just for the fact that you're looking for another place in Houston that's close by for him to do the maintenance on?
yeah, close by.
Okay, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. And you had mentioned that the tenants probably aren't paying nearly as much. Do you mind me asking what the rent is right now?
I believe he's paying 995.
995. Okay. All right. And yeah, are they on like a long term lease? I know you said they've been there for 11 years, or are they just going
No,
month to
they're
month?
on a month.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm very interested. I can completely understand where you're coming from with the last guy. Wasted a bunch of your time, all that. So I completely get where you're coming from. Now, in terms of, kind of what we were talking about going back and forth about the tenant, you know, I understand again, I understand where you're coming from. For me, and it's clear that you just want an insurance policy, right? You don't want me to waste your time. You don't want me to go to the last minute, the day of closing, and then come back and tell you, hey, yeah, we actually aren't going to buy it, right? And then
Yeah.
the worst case scenario is you've already served your tenant a notice and they've already left, right? And that's why you're saying you don't want
Right.
an empty property, right?
They found another place,
Yeah, put down a down
and
payment.
put down, that you just then I
Right.
have to fix it all up, and we rent it, which I
Yeah.
get the rent on more money out of it. I know that, but I don't want the hassle.
Yeah.
This last guy, we were supposed to close on the 23rd, which is next week, and so
Yeah.
I just don't want that kind of scenario.
I completely
You know,
understand, and it's one thing for me to tell you, and for me to give you my word, but it's a whole other thing to play, putting these contingencies in place, like we've been talking about, in terms of putting it in writing into the agreement where both of us kind of have insurance policies, right? So that's what I kind of
right?
wanted to talk about. I think that, it's something that we're very close on being able to come to an agreement. It's just kind of ironing out the details, like I had said. Now, I completely understand I just want to kind of refer to the last text that you had sent me, the for the 1% earnest money and that you'd like the month after closing to get the tenant out. To me, my
Yeah,
inter
that would. I mean, I got to give them 30-day notice.
of course, of course.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah, yeah.
just to my take on that, my take on this on that text when I read it, it was a little confusing to me because at that point technically they would be my tenant, right? Because I would have already closed on the property and
Well,
I would be the landlord.
well,
You
you
get what,
know,
you get what I'm saying though? That's just my interpretation of that. Not to say that you
well,
wouldn't do right by
yeah,
them.
I see your point there somewhat, but I've done that with another house where I just, as soon as I had, really what I'm looking for is, uh, I don't know, if you are you going to borrow money from a bank or
Like
somewhere or,
likely hard money, yeah. Not a conventional loan,
well,
but hard money.
what I like to do is, as soon as I get a confirmation that, yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna loan him the money,
Mhm.
then I would, go to my tenant and tell him,
Right.
hey, but I never got that, and I knew something was going crazy
Yeah,
last
yeah.
week when I never heard anything,
Yeah.
and then he said that his lender told him this until he sells some of the property. I guess he's got too many outstanding. They don't, and I guess he really doesn't have a credit to be
Yeah.
able to get any more.
And
So
I don't know that guy obviously or gal, I don't know, but based on what you're saying, to me it sounds a little bogus. Uh I mean, people are desperate to lend money nowadays, with the market right now the way that it's moving. So, I mean, I don't know his situation or her situation, but for me, yeah, I'm very confident in being able to raise the funds, to be able to close on it, and to speak to that kind of insurance policy that you needed. You know, with the 1% earnest money down, that shouldn't be a problem either. Getting you a proof of funds shouldn't be a problem either. It's just kind of, I think what we're really talking about now is just the timeline in which you're wanting to give your tenant, the notice so that we don't run into an issue like that. And that's kind of why I proposed holding off on serving them any notice until my inspection period tolls. That way, my earnest money goes hard, it becomes non-refundable, and that would be essentially your insurance policy for me wasting your time, right? If my inspection period, elapses and the earnest money becomes hard and I back out for some reason, I don't know why I would, but especially after my inspection period, the only reason honestly that I would say, hey, this isn't going to work out is during the inspection period where something unforeseen pops up, right? We get under there, the foundation needs a lot more repair. You said it's pier and beam, so that shouldn't really be an issue, but you know, anything unforeseen. That's the only reason. And me knowing that I have a sizable amount of earnest money down, I would definitely want to let you know before it goes hard. So, in my opinion, that would be kind of the best of both worlds. Having that inspection period, me putting down an earnest money that makes sense, 1%, like you were talking. And I'll be honest as well. Typically we, especially with our off-market properties, we don't tend to put down 1%. But I completely understand where you're coming from, especially with the last guy wasting your time. So that shouldn't be a
Yeah.
problem. Um, and then yeah, and then waiting until my inspection period tolls for you to like you're saying, during my inspection period, I'll put up the earnest money. I'll provide the proof of funds. That way, you're a little bit more confident in my ability to close on it. And then only at that point, bring it to your tenant's attention. And then I'm willing to set the closing date out far enough, in the future to allow them that full 30 days. And I want to mention again, I understand where you're coming from, especially with the tenant situation. By no means am I in the business of kicking anybody out on the street. That's the last thing that I want to happen, especially if it
Right.
was my fault. I would hate for that to happen. So, that's what I'm proposing. I don't know if that's something that you'd be, open to or interested to. Again, just to reiterate, 14-day inspection, putting up the earnest money, providing the proof of funds during the inspection, and then once my inspection period tolls and my earnest money goes hard, at that point, serving your tenant a notice. That way, they have ample time to move out, and then we can close after the fact.
Okay, so when you say inspection, are you talking about like yourself or one of your
Yeah, yeah,
guys going there looking
exactly,
at it?
exactly. Nothing serious. I'll just send somebody out. Again, I mean, usually we like 2 days. We like one day to get out there, take pictures, to document the place for our own, portfolio, so that we don't have to continue going in and out just to, revisit something. And then we just like a second day, and we try to schedule everybody all at the same time. Our contractors, our realtors, so that we can get an opinion on what they think it'll sell for, on the back end. We try to get everybody out there all at the same time, so that again, we're not going in and out. But yeah, when I say inspection, I'm not going to hire an inspector or an appraiser or anything like that. I just need to double check the kind of unforeseen things like I was mentioning. Make sure there's no mold damage. Make sure there's no termite damage. Make sure that the foundation, if there is any damage, can be repaired. Just kind of crossing the T's and dotting the I's.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The only problem is going to be as soon as you start doing that extensive of an inspection, the tenant is going to freak and think that it's definitely he's on his way out. He's going to start
Ah,
looking.
okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense. That
um,
makes sense. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off. Why don't we do this then? Like I said, usually we have a day to just get pictures taken. But since you already have pictures, as long as it's well documented, we may even consider just you know I, I don't know, because this now I'm on the fence because that's my insurance policy, right? I wouldn't want to not have an inspection period, or it's just kind of I want to protect my investment and make sure that what I'm buying is worth it. But
yeah.
I
Well, I mean, what the guy did before, then because he's kind of gone by and looked at that property, and he said he wants it like 6 months. But I another house, basically I met him over there, and about we walked around the house, we walked inside the house, looked around a little bit, and that was it. He bought it.
Yeah, yeah,
That was his,
exactly, and
and that
that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. The pictures will do for me. I'm hoping that I can get the pictures, and then it's everything that I need to see, and I can just make the decision then, and then money, get the agreement in place, send it over to title, and that will avoid all of this because that makes sense. Now that you brought that up about the tenant and kind of raising a little bit of suspicion on the tenant's end and them feeling a little uncomfortable with people walking through, I'm sure they would think, well, am I gonna have to get out of here? So I get that. Why don't we do this? Why don't I provide you an email for me? That way you can send through these pictures. And then I think that I'll have a much better understanding of my level of confidence moving forward in, my
Would
inspection.
it be would it be possible? I don't have them. I have electronic
Sure,
reports on
sure.
my phone. I was just going to text them to you,
Text
and
them.
if you wanted to,
Yeah, text them. That's all right
sure.
with me too. You can text them to this number right here.
Okay. Well, I can do that.
All right.
I can text you.
Perfect. Why don't we do this? I don't want to. If you're able to text them to me today, great. No real rush. But
I'll text them to you either very shortly or definitely by end of day.
okay, sounds good. And then I will take a peek. I will kind of revisit the numbers, and I will
It,
likely go on.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pictures, and I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I don't have much luck of texting a whole bunch of pictures at one time. So I'm
Yeah, yeah,
going to send you a bunch of texts.
yeah. No, perfect, perfect. That
Maybe
honestly,
two pictures per text.
that makes
It's
sense.
probably about 10 or 12 or 15 pictures. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that I have the same poor luck. I'll be honest with you. I can't. It's funny you mentioned that. I've run into that same exact situation, trying to set a bunch of pictures, and then the person says, "I only saw one of them." So I get it.
Yeah.
And so I'll be on the lookout. I'll take a peek. I will likely round back with you early next week. Let's say Monday, after I have a chance to kind
Okay.
of take a peek at the pictures, rerun the numbers, um, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Sounds great then.
All right. I
So
appreciate
I'll
you.
just text you on the number I'm talking to, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right. I
good then.
appreciate you taking the time. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Okay. You too. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye now.
Bye.
All right. Glad to be your 50th, Trader Migs. Let's go. I'm gonna send a property on Instagram. All right, to comp. Got you. I sent you the Addy. Cash for keys. Yeah, Trader Migs. I'm not gonna see what else you said. I just want to respond to these individually. I had told him that. I'm gonna read you the text conversation. I said at one point I sent him a novel. I said, are you comfortable with getting the agreement in place now and then just simply waiting for the tenant to vacate before we close? He says, I don't think I would like that. As how do I know that it will close until it does? I just had another guy back out last minute. And then this is what I said, kind of a novel, but I said, completely understand. I would be hesitant too if I just got my time wasted. But if you're wanting to close before delivering your tenant a notice to vacate, the burden of evicting the tenant gets passed along to me if they don't leave. This is what I'll propose. And that's what I was kind of saying. Well, let me finish this. I said, this is what I'll propose. I would ask for a 14-day inspection period. We can set a tentative closing date 60 days out. That way, you don't have to issue your tenant the 30-day notice until after my inspection period tolls. And it will still allow them the full 30 days to vacate before our closing date. Also, I really like being in direct communication with the tenants as well. That way, I'm able to assist the tenant in their moving process to ensure a smooth process for everybody involved, your tenant included. I said, how does that sound? And then his response was, well, if I have to evict them before closing, I would have to have both a sizable earnest money amount in case it doesn't close and proof of funds, where they're coming from. I just don't want an empty property. So that's where we're going back and forth. Again, like I mentioned, he wants the insurance policy, but he kind of wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants me to put up sizable earnest money as the insurance policy, but then he also doesn't want to serve them the notice until I buy it, which doesn't make sense, which is why I said what I said earlier. Technically, at that point, they would be my tenant. I've already closed on the property. You're no longer their landlord. I'm their landlord. So I get that you have built this relationship with them and I get it. And I'm not to say that you wouldn't want to be involved in the, process of letting them know. I get that, but that's going to have to happen before we close because it just doesn't make much sense. The burden will still because then what's my insurance policy? I close on the property and then who's to say that you're not just going to take off and say, "Hey, good luck with that tenant." I know I said that they were good, but really they're a nightmare, and then it's on me to evict them. So, um I'm trying to find some middle ground here with him, and I think that that's the best way. Putting up putting up sizable earnest money is his insurance policy. Because once my earnest money goes hard and becomes non-refundable, then he at least knows, hey, my time wasn't wasted, because even if this does fall through, I'm gonna get a couple $1,000, you know. And even if my tenant did start packing up, maybe I give them a month rent for free, you know. So they were inconvenienced, but they're compensated for their time, and I'm also compensated for my time. You know, I'm just kind of brainstorming now, but that's where I'm at. To answer you, cash for keys, definitely. That's where my head's at. I would love for it to be as smooth as, and that's what I did for my first property, first deal that I closed. Very smooth, very easy. The seller was very willing to give me, it was his daughter, but give me his daughter's information because she was really the reason why it was a bad situation. So when the tenant is the reason, I'm finding that the uh, the the landlord or the property owner is much more willing to just be like, yeah, here, you deal with it, you know. But in this case, they have a relationship, and he wants to do right by his tenant. So I understand that, but he can't have his cake and eat it too. So I had a deal like that where the seller made a request to not kick out the tenant and to give them 30 days. We just did a cash for keys at closing. Yeah, see, I would be willing to do that, but what he's saying is he doesn't want to serve them the notice until I close. He doesn't want to. He wants to give them. He wants day one of the 30-day notice to start either the day of or the day after closing, which doesn't make sense. At that point, its problem goes between the seller and your buyer. You'll walk away with your time, right? Yeah. In an ideal situation, that's what I would love for to happen on this one, Trader Mix. Let me know if you need me to go inspect it. Are you? This one's out in Austin, Jared. Um, this one's out near Austin. So this is kind of like a foreign play for me in general since I work the Houston market, but he's asking a pretty favorable price if my numbers work out or if my numbers check out. So, and send pics. What price does he want? He wants 200,000. Um, what's ARV? I think ARV is pushing 400,000. If my numbers are correct, it's a very small little community. Smithsville is the name of the community. It's almost like any property in Smithsville is going to be a comp because it's so small. I think that the whole city, the whole town probably ranges like a half mile end to end. So a lot of properties in the area are pushing 380, 390, 400, 420. You know, granted, those ones that are selling for 420 have like maybe an extra bedroom or I don't know. I'm running my numbers very conservatively, and I think I have ARV at around 390. His property sits across the street from a park, so I'm taking like a $15,000 discount on that. His property does not have a detached garage, just a carport, whereas some of these comps have a detached garage. So I'm taking like $10,000, $15,000 off for that. But granted, some of these comps just have carports and they're selling for the same thing. So this one, it's going to be a smoking deal. This guy, and you wouldn't think it, and this is honestly why I'm pretty proud of this conversation that I just had. Um, this guy owns 30 properties and this is just one. So this is kind of just a drop in the bucket. Uh, he says he owns a number of ones out in Houston. So to kind of take it a step back, that's how I generated this lead. I texted him on a property on Empanada, and so I scrolled up to the top of my text. Oh my god! Bro, my whole computer, it's still doing it. I can't. My computer, my keyboard's frozen. So I went to go like run comps and do all this, and I was freaking out. And I was like, my computer's not working. I don't know what it is, but I refresh the screen and all that. I don't, but anyways, uh, yeah, it's a smoking deal. But he owns 30 properties, so I'm proud of myself. Usually, this is the type of person that I would have avoided in the past because I would have been intimidated at the fact that he's the seasoned investor. But I'm becoming more and more confident every single day that I can keep up in these conversations. I'm saying this lingo that only investors know. You know what I mean? I'm really proud of myself, and I'm gonna pat myself on the back for these recent conversations that I've been having because I've definitely been able to keep up in the conversation. Prices you want 200 ARV 400 because pretty sure they backed out because they locked it up too high. Yeah, exactly. And that's that. Oh, damn, that was something else that I wanted to ask about was if they what they contracted it at, right? And that's why I was really trying to get a sense of what the true condition was. But it's no. I'm telling you, this place, as long as it's salvageable, as long as it can be repaired, I don't care if it's going to take $120,000 to bring it up to speed. I'm still going to have room on the margins here. And he knows that too. He said something in the text. He says early in the conversation, he said, "This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that is in good physical condition but needs some TLC and will be worth much more than you would pay for it." So it's like that's why I'm not really messing around with his asking price. If we are unable to if he's unable to kind of give, you're right, because we're just trying to play give and take right now. If he's not willing to give as much as he's willing to take, I'm going to revisit the price. But honestly, he told me the price. He mentioned, it's going to go for way more. I ran the comps and I found that to be the case. So I didn't even want to mess around. I haven't really even made him an offer yet. He said 200, and I've just been kind of playing well, if I can do that, would it be something that you're willing to move forward? If I could do that, and I got what's his name? I got that from Cody Hoffine, over at Wholesaling Inc. That was where I got that from. The whole if, I'm not saying I could. I'm not, and I wouldn't say that to the seller, but I'm not saying that I could. But if I could do that, you know, then I can, say my offer later down the road in the conversation where he's not going to hold me to, well, I thought you said that you could do 200. Well, no, I was just feeling it out. If I could do that, I was just wondering how quickly you were wanting to sell. That's what my real question was. Um, but that was my thought exactly, Jared. I'm thinking that well, it could be a number of things, but yeah, maybe just locked it up too high. But I almost want to tune out of that because I don't want to start painting a picture that's not true. I don't want to start jumping to assumptions and conclusions. I just want to remain focused on my numbers. And the way that I'm running my numbers right now, it makes sense at 200, because just as I can assume, oh, well, he sold it to the other person for 200 and then 200 ended up being too high. For all I know, a beginner wholesaler and this is their first property. They didn't have a buyer's list. They were unable to find a buyer, even if 200 did make sense. Um, what else? For all I know, they contracted it at 250 and it was too high. But the seller realizes that now, which is why he told me 200. So many different things can be the case on this one. I'm just so you know, I'm finishing up here. I'm gonna be done in like 15, 20 minutes, and I plan on taking them out. So I think all in all, good conversation. Really glad that he's able to give me some pictures because what's going on here is typically I can get a vibe, I can get a feel by looking on Google Maps, but it's like the last time this Google Maps picture was taken was like 20 years ago. You'll run across some of those properties where it's like I can't even make out the property because the photo quality is so poor. I don't even really know what I'm looking at. So I will definitely be able to determine if it's salvageable with these pictures, and that's really all I need to know right now. My sister's in Austin; she can go. Okay, bet that's. I'm definitely gonna hold you to that, Jerry. That's what's up. Yeah, if need be, I'll definitely reach out. She lives there. Most of those older people just don't want to deal with all that stuff anymore. Exactly, and that's what I'm finding. That's what I think is the case on this one. A majority of his rentals are in Houston. He has this one out in Austin or near Austin. Um, he knows the market's going crazy, which is some of these comps that I'm looking at have appreciated in value by like 20% just in 2021. So he's, I think, just wanting to take advantage of the high appreciation and knows that he's going to have to sell this place as is anyways. So why not sell it as is at a high price, right? Because 200,000 probably is a high price for this property in as is condition based on historical data. Last year he may have only been able to sell this property in as is condition for like 150, 160. So I think that's what the case is on this one. He's older. He's going to get cashed out 200 grand anyways. So, and again, he owns 30 properties. So it's kind of just a drop in the bucket. He's probably not concerned with milking it for every single last dollar. That's what my take. That's what my gauge on his personality is. Great guy though. I expected him to be kind of a shark, 30 property shark. But again, I'm really coming to the realization that, hey, You don't have to be a bad person or a shark that wants to again milk every single property for every single last dollar just to you if you own 30 properties, you're not necessarily that type of person. And I am continually reminding myself of that as of lately. So, uh, really, again, I'm going to keep talking myself up because I'm really proud of the fact that I didn't, in the past, I would have shied away from even calling this guy because I would see that he owns 30 properties. So, the fact that, I'm even getting on the phone with these type of people is progress in my book. So, I'll keep you guys updated on that one once he sends over the pictures. Um, Austin is more expensive too. Yeah, that's what I mean. Based on what my just me peeking into the market, appreciation's been going crazy. And he mentioned it. He said his daughter sold for like 500 plus per square foot, which is like on a even just like a 1,500 square foot place going for 750. Easy, crazy. Whereas a 1,500 square foot in the markets that I'm targeting in Houston would be like a quarter of that, a third of that. So compared to Houston, yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna take some notes on this guy. Spoke with seller, going to send me pics through sideline number. I want to mention he was a bit skeptical of the concept of an inspection period because he does not want to raise any concern with the tenant. Tenant has been there for 11 years. Roof is 8 years old. Uh, Hardwood grew out, and the places where there is carpet slash tile, the original hardwood is underneath. The tenant, month to month, owned the property for 25 years, and he wants to sell in order to buy more property in Houston instead of Austin because he has a reliable maintenance guy in Houston. Tenant currently paying $9.95 per month. All right. Task. I'm gonna this weekend rerun the numbers to make sure that that 200,000 does in fact work when cross-referencing the pictures that he sends through. So I'm gonna say pics received, cross-reference to make sure 200K works, and then I'm going to give him a call back, follow up to close on Monday. So keep your fingers crossed on that. I think that we'll be able to come to some type of an agreement and get some type of an agreement in place, even if it is like what I'm kind of proposing. Like, let's get the agreement in place now, but we can set the closing date out far in advance. We just need to kind of iron out the details. Good shit, though. It's just a matter of talking to the right people. We're already good at talking to sellers. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm coming to the realization of as well. Uh, it's just a numbers game. As long as I'm talking to the right people, like you're saying. So, what I'm going to do now is close out this video on a good note, I'd like to say. And what I'd love for you guys to do is to join me in this premiere in 2 minutes. I have a video dropping in 2 minutes on my channel. So I'm going to end this live stream. It's a Driving for Dollars holiday themed premiere. I'd love to have you guys on there. This is the first time that I'm trying out the whole premiere function. It's just a way for me to watch it with you guys. And I'll be in the chat with you, kind of pointing out why I'm adding certain properties, why I didn't add certain properties. And I'd love for you guys to kind of take note, ask questions in the chat as well, so that I can kind of address those. I think it's a good opportunity for you to see exactly how I drive for dollars virtually and how I'm building my driving for dollars list. I know I already have that little mini series up there, but this is kind of like a firsthand, again, I didn't go through the hassle of like blurring out the addresses or anything like that. I just, hopped on. I was able to add a good number of properties in a short period of time. I think I got 19 properties in 15 minutes, which is very strong for me. I hit a little bit of a rhythm, which I was really happy about because I was filming for the video. So gonna hop off right now. I'd love to see you guys in that video in 1 minute. Just go ahead and hop over onto my channel and you'll see it being released. If you haven't already, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys over there. Till the next one. Peace.